We're just about ready to start the meeting. Yay! Tracy Reed joins us up here in the front.
It's cool, bossy.
Thank you. Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order. If we all stand and okay, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the board did meet in executive session this morning for 5.5 hours.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I'll run through what we covered in our agenda. We approved the June 6th, 8th, and 15th executive session meetings. We approved the June 27th code enforcement minutes. And we reviewed the committee applications to be approved in the open session. We discussed the homeowner request. We discussed a personnel matter. We approved the contract vendor change, discussed the vendor contract. We reviewed committees. We approved the legal procedures, tabled a policy review, or we'd still be there for probably another hour or two. We discussed procedures, reviewed the delinquency report, reviewed the violations report, reviewed management action plan, reviewed legal billing, and reviewed the committee report. So we did have a very full agenda this morning, and we'll move into this one. Okay, we have a report from TGIS up.
No walkout. Good afternoon. Real quick on TGIS, we just completed our survey. We sent it out on e-blast to everybody. 4th of July, once again, big thanks to Mary for that. And TGMA for funding the question survey done. So it was a success. I think, I don't know when you guys are planning to do one, but I think we got some good information on that. Operating account right now for TGIS is $650,000. That is right about on what we're supposed to be. We applied for $210,000 a year. That's down from $225,000 due to the market slowing down some. So, we have 2 houses on the market right now, 6 under contract, and 17 were sold at the start of the fiscal year. That's as of June. That's not the July numbers. We do have 2 positions. Had an election. We had 3 positions. Mine, Randy Hubick, and Joe Downing. Randy and Joe decided not to run again, so I was one man out. So we got 2 appointments. We're getting some people that are interested, and we're going to go ahead as a board in August. Appoint those 2 people. That'll be for a 2-year term. And we also put Janice Walker is in for Nancy Gubatera. We got the TGMA board. I'm going to stay for the committee thing.
Yeah, committee reports, yes.
Okay, Blue Water Sports Club Committee. First, I'd be remiss in not thanking Mary and her fabulous staff. Real honor and privilege to work on the committee with her. She's done a great job. Came out of the pandemic. This is the first report we've given since the pandemic. So, and we struggled to get it back up, but we're about where we were prior to the pandemic. And we meet on the 3rd Thursday of every month. We have 7 residents are on the committee. All positions are filled. Quick summary of what we've done over this last quarter. Blue Water Sports Club had over 5,000 visitors on a monthly average. that's for the key pops. We had a record-breaking 110 residents signed up for April for that's unlimited. Weekly classes or one-time classes. We're averaging about 100 residents per month in those classes. It is revenue neutral, so what we take in and what we pay the instructors pretty much balances out. And a little few surpluses that we ended up dealing with. We gave half off for a month, and we gave 1 month, we gave free classes for those who were attending. Events at the recent Blue Water, we had spring break party, a Memorial Day party, the luau, and most currently our 4th of July pool party. Those all well attended, good times. And by the way, they had music at all those events. I talked to Mary, I guess some residents got some concerns about shutting the pool down on those holidays because of, kids, you gotta shut it down at noon until 5, so I think you're looking at alternatives. I'm sure Mary will work on that to see if we can try to accommodate those folks. Music at the outdoor pool, we're gonna talk about that different today, a little bit later. And maintenance of the machines, that came up during the town hall. I know Mary, if there's anything wrong with any of the machines upstairs, she's right on it, gets fixed post haste, so I don't know how that, it got blown into like half the machines up there don't work, but and Scott can attest to it, he's up there quite a bit, so. That's all I got for the Blue Water Sports Club. To make those questions.
It's not, thank you, Todd.
And big thanks to Scott too, he's our board liaison, he's a big help.
Do we have any other committee reports? Jay Snyder does, for emergency preparedness and neighborhood watch.
Okay, good afternoon. If you can't hear me, start waving. Okay, several items. Tuesday, August 1st, is National Neighborhood Watch Night Out. Each of your canyons is planning some type of event, so watch for emails and a flyer at your house. There is a major concern that I have. I know we live in an area where a wildfire can happen at any moment of the day or night. We are emergency preparedness. We are not emergency services. There's a big difference there. I know we have residents without any transportation. I've sent 2 email blasts and only received 2 people with requests. I have sent that to the Riverside County Emergency Management Department so that they can start being aware of what would happen, what kind of services we might need, even though they can't guarantee anything. I would like to suggest that emergency preparedness, our board, and First Service, that we work together to develop a letter that would be sent by U.S. mail to all residents, requesting that we know if they have transportation out of here if an evacuation were ordered. We would only request an address, the number of people, if they have a service animal or pets, and if they would be using a wheelchair. SoCal Edison has until the end of the month. They have sent out an access and functional needs service. Hopefully people have filled it out, including, no, I don't need anything. But it mainly focuses on a power outage, and it does mention no transportation. let me know, guys, if this would be possible. I think it's extremely important. Thank you.
Thank you, Jane. I'd like to just double down on what you just talked about. Everybody did get a letter from Edison regarding the needs, whether it's for medical equipment. That is very, very important for the age group that we are here at Trilogy to answer. In the past, Edison has given Trilogy preferential treatment when other areas and other communities in the valley have had power outages, power shutdowns. They've kept Trilogy lit. We need to keep in front of them so they realize the community that we have with some unique medical needs, just air conditioning for some people. So please, encourage your friends and neighbors to return that survey. It could have a very positive impact on our community. Are there any other community or committees with a report today? Okay. Then we'll go to Tracy with the general manager report.
Thank you, Lee. I just wanted to say, I hope you all had a happy 4th and was safe and fun and enjoyed with your family. Wanted to touch base on our staff members. We are fully staffed at this time. We have one temp, Yvonne. You might have seen her up at the front desk. You can say hello. We are enjoying her service at this point. We're going to continue with her temp service to see if we join her into the FSR team. But at this time, I don't know if you guys have noticed, our quarter staff is phenomenal. We have now hired 2 out of 4 of our temps. Jesus and Jeremy have now joined the FSR team and are permanent employees here. We have Octavian and Ruben, I'm sorry. Octavian and Ruben, who are still listed as temps, but they're fulfilling their hours, and then we'll transfer over to FSR employees soon. So when you see them, we are, planning on having all of them stay. So while they're not officially FSR, please take a minute, say hello. They're all really friendly and helpful, and we're thrilled to have them as part of the team. Avocado harvest, not a great harvest this year, unfortunately. With our heat wave last year, that 2 weeks we had over 110-degree weather, the trees, along with all the other avocado trees in the area, dropped the majority of their fruit just for survival purposes. So avocado harvest this year, unfortunately, is very low. We did have PARG bring in the harvest for the community last week. It was unfortunately not as large as we would have liked. Hopefully some of you were able to get a few avocados. But they are continuing this week, should be finishing up, and the harvest should be complete by the end of the week. We have our annual audit coming up in July, this month. Before the end of the month, by July 31st, you'll have a mailer going out to you with the annual audit from our controller, from our accountant. It will have the information on where to find the annual audit on our website. If you guys need a hard copy, you will be able to request that through the links in our office. So be on the lookout for that one. We did have a town hall last month, and I wanted to thank any of you that are here. If you came out, we really enjoyed having you. We got a lot of feedback from the community, and we are really thrilled as a management team to, even when it's not comfortable, receive that feedback so that we can find areas that we can improve our services to you. So thank you for coming out, and we're going to reiterate once again, if you guys ever have a concern or an issue, the entire management team here is here to address it and work with you guys and help you. We all have an open door policy. You guys are welcome to stop by as long as we're not in another meeting. We'll welcome you in, sit down and talk with you and work through whatever issues you guys have. We do have a list that we're working on, improvements that can be made from the suggestions given at town hall. And once again, just wanted to thank everybody for their feedback. We really do appreciate it. Updates on current projects, the ballroom tables.
were delivered last week, so we have all new ballroom tables, the big round tables in here. We're thrilled to have updated those to just make it a little bit nicer for any of your events. Blue Water Sports Club pool umbrellas, they have been ordered, they were approved at open session, and they have been ordered. We're simply waiting for vendor delivery. Lake Center water heater is due to be changed out, and the desert air unit in the Blue Water Sports Club. It's a little bit of a big one. We do have to make a few repairs to it, and we will be updating the community shortly. As soon as we have a firm schedule, the parking lot will actually be used. If we have to crane that big unit off the roof, it will shut down some of the parking area temporarily over near the Blue Water. So be prepared for a little bit of inconvenience. We apologize, but we want to make sure that we keep the facilities up to date and repaired. That's my report for the month.
Thank you, Tracy. We'll move on to the operation manager report from Mary.
Hello, everyone. Just a couple of things for the Blue Water and the PCO. Window cleaning. Those of you that use the track, I know you've noticed that the windows are a little bit needing some type of cleaning. We are working on that and going to get a vendor out to give some bids on those window cleanings. AC unit, if some of you guys are in the Europa room, if you take some classes there, you're going to notice that it is a little bit warmer. The AC unit was approved to be switched out, or desert air AC. That is in the works, so hang on, hang tight in there. I know that I've tried to put a couple of fans out there for you guys, but hopefully that will be taken care of here soon. Music at the pool. Before I started in 2021, I did get wind that there was a survey that was done. Unfortunately, I never was able to see that survey. I couldn't find it, so we did another survey in, I believe it was April of 2022. Those results came back as 29 people wanted music at the pool and 4 people did not want music at the pool. When I presented that to the board, they saw that it was a lower number, and the only bid that I was able to get to have music fed from the Blue Water to the pool came back at like $8,300. Any other vendor that I tried calling wanted like $100 to $200 just to come out here and give us a bid. That bid that was $8,300 was professionally done speakers that looked like rocks that was wired to the Blue Water underneath, and it would be on where the palm trees are. When I presented that, the board wanted to get a little bit more bids out here. So at that point, I did ask if we can, in the meantime, have music at the pool Tuesdays and Thursdays from 2 to 5, and what staff would do is take music out there from 2 to 5 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I hear that there's a whole lot of residents that are asking for us to have music at the pool every day, and they don't necessarily want the professional or nice or elaborate speakers on the ground right by the palm trees. They just want something fed from the Blue Water Sports Club building to the outside. I am in the process now of trying to get some vendors out here to give us 3 more quotes to see what we can get just to feed the music, maybe face the speakers outwards or something. But I did talk to one particular vendor, and he says that there might be a way that we can get the speakers that are on the track to face the outside as well, so that way we can have some music outside. This is something that I will have to present to the board, but just wanted to let everyone know that that is in the works. The bee situation, well, we've had some pretty hot days and they have not been back. The shades at the Blue Water, some of them We have had some residents try to put them up or bring them down, and they have fallen down. So we are in the process of getting some bids for new shades at the Blue Water. Ice Cream Social is going to be on the 26th at the Blue Water Retreat. It's while supplies last, so on the 26th, get prepared. Hopefully it's a really hot day and you guys can come on down and enjoy some ice cream. Cerveza and Cars. So it's kind of a little takeoff of the Cars and Coffee, but this is going to be at night. So we're trying to get as many residents as possible to participate and bring in your classic cars if you have any, or your non-classic cars that you're really proud of and you want to display. That works too. There's going to be some free beer there for all of those that participate and bring in their vehicles. Beatles tribute is this Saturday. We still do have about 25 tickets left if you guys want to go on down to the PCL and get your tickets. We're also looking into installing a rail that goes from the first tennis court up to the pickleball courts. There's a few steps there, and we've had some residents request that we add a rail to that, and we're in the process of getting some bids for that as well. That's it for that. Lifestyle budget. So we went into a new thing this year where TGIS would give us half of the budget up front. And I just wanted to give everyone kind of a little heads up on where we're at with that. The Sunday brunch that we had on April 23rd, we ended up being in the positive, $216. Trivia night, we went in the negative, $288. Cars and Coffee, we went in the negative, $23. 100 Mile Club, we were in the positive, $76. Spring Break Pool Party, we were 762 in the positive. Chief Sax concert, we ended up going 990 in the negative. Memorial Day was a positive of 1,940. I talked to Todd and he said, whatever it takes, he's just gonna throw money our way. And I was very appreciative of that. That gives us still a positive for the first quarter of $1,392. Looking at the books though, we are negative 607, but that's because we've already paid for the in-and-out truck that's gonna be here for Woodstock in August. So the numbers are looking pretty good. You're okay, Todd.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, we'll now have the lifestyles report from Jessica Lopez.
Hello, everyone. This is possibly the shortest report I've ever given. First of all, I would like to thank everybody who came out for the singles night. It was a great success. There were several connections made. Just really fun core group of people that came out. It was fun. We had a lot of great feedback and requests for more, so I look forward to planning and scheduling a few more of those. This Saturday, Mary did mention briefly, we have the Beatles tribute band, Paperback Writer, playing for us. I believe we have maybe 10, 15 tickets left, so if you haven't gotten yours, now's your chance. A couple of our monthly events, July 18th is bingo night, and there's always room for more. It's always a really fun crowd. And then movie day is actually this upcoming Thursday, and we'll be showing On a Wing and a Prayer with Dennis Quaid. And as always, popcorn and drinks are provided. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. All right, we're going to move into open forum. We have a stack of speaker requests. We'll start with Mr. Keegan. Yes, front and center. And I think Todd is going to speak on behalf of a number of you in the audience, so you don't have to come up. It's all on the same subject. So go ahead, Mr. Keegan.
Hey, you're much better looking than I am, so you may want to come up. Can we just get a show of hands of the folks here? I'm one of them that goes to the outdoor pool almost every day. That's that's most of the stack you got there, so. Basically just piggybacking on what Mary said, with respect for requesting that the board, go ahead and put music out in the outdoor pool. We're looking, I know we can't go from 6 in the morning until 8 at night because obviously the boom box is probably going to have its use, but, we like it from 2 o'clock. Right now we got it from 2 to 5 on Tuesday, Thursdays. We like it from 2 to 5 the whole week, Monday through Sunday. The rationale for this, and we discussed this in, as you get to the pool. There's music inside this room, there's music when you walk in this building, there's music in the blue water, there's music everywhere you go around this place other than the outdoor pool. I guess the indoor pool doesn't have either of the outdoor rooms, but, we're trying to promote a 55 and older resort-like community. Our competition, Terramore, Sun City, Four Seasons, numerous other communities in Southern California all have music at their outdoor pools, as well as all major resorts, Las Vegas, Palm Springs. Any of those you go to, there's music in the outdoor pools. So. That's part of the insanity of this is, and Jody brought this to my attention. When you reserve a cabana, you got to sign some waivers. You can have glass, you got to have your kids in the cabana area after 2 o'clock. And it specifically says no music in the cabana. It's not even just a small little boom box and just a small speaker. And, a few times we've deviated from the Tuesday, Thursday policy, which very low key, soft rock, easy to listen to music. This isn't rap. This isn't, any hard rock type of stuff. A resident or two will get up and go in and talk to Mary's staff. They'll come out politely. To turn it off, so. And then Mary went pretty much gave us the history on where we got to. So what we're requesting is, I know Mary's going to be putting a proposal forward to you guys for August. And so it comes in August, you give it the blessing, you get the guy out, he gets it done September, October-ish, and the pool shuts down in November because he turned the heat on. So. What we'd like is at least an interim solution from the board to allow us to have music, like I said, every day of the week, 2 to 5 p.m. It's the way we do it right now. And I work with Mary on getting bids for more resort-like look on how that's out there. But that's all I got. Unless you guys got anything else I missed?
Thank you, Todd. I promise the board will give this the needed attention, okay?
Thank you.
Just so you guys are aware, I did receive all of the requests to speak. They will be noted that your names will be included in the minutes that you requested the same items.
And Todd did say money's no object.
Okay. Thank you. All right, we do have a request from Jim Barnett.
I'll be very brief. I get 3 minutes, I'll need about 1.5. I moved here in 2010, and I remember when our lodge used to be open at 8 o'clock in the morning. And there were quite a few people that used to come up and enjoy coffee and get their mail, and I think I'd like to see that happen again. I know now they're open from 9 to 10, and I don't imagine there's a whole lot of people here that come from the 9 to 10 hour. I know I'm usually in bed by 9:15, so I imagine a lot of the rest of you are also. So I would like the board to consider that, opening the lodge at 9. If you have to close earlier to accommodate that, that would be fine with me too. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. All right, moving forward, we're into the consent calendar. First thing on the consent calendar is to approve the minutes from the June 6th meeting, open session. Do I have any comments on that question? I was just reminded by Tracy that we normally go through the consent calendar unless there's questions from the floor for the board. We approve it all at once. The next thing are the committee minutes that we've received. The P-card approvals, the investment proposals for July, the Cobblestone Reserve and the Master Reserve approval, committee applications approval, and we did have 3. Two of them we discussed all 3 of them. 2 of them we were favorable on in the executive session. 1 we had more information we requested just to be open on that. Actually, it was 4, not 3. Then we had light fixtures on La Pasta in Cobblestone. Make sure I don't miss anything here. Ratify Horizon lighting proposal, Corral Canyon entrance sign proposals, Fawn Skin area drain issues that need to be ratified, condo lights fixture purchase ratified, ground light fixtures purchased, ground light fixture replacement, Blue Water Sports Center HVAC belt replacement, PLC HVAC belt replacement, the Lake Center HVA belt replacement, and that's the end of the consent calendar. Was there any questions or discussion on this? If not, I'll move for a motion to approve.
Make the motion to approve.
Yeah, I make the motion to approve the consent calendar as presented.
Okay. Yeah, do I have a second? A second. Okay. Show of hands. Okay, that passed unanimously. All right. Moving on. Financial statements and report.
Thank you, Lee. I'll be reviewing our year-to-date financial report prepared by FSR ending May 31st, 2023. We performed a review of the statements for accuracy and integrity, and all statements have been fairly stated and budget variances have been explained. For our summary of reserve funds, this includes for all cost centers our beginning year balance with homeowner assessments, interest earned, and expenditures made. Our year-to-date balances for the master is $5,784,177. Condo are at $1,690,005. Elevators, $747,862. Grand total for all 3, $8,222,044. Our liquidity ratios healthy across the board, with anything over 1 considered healthy. Master we're at 1.9, condo 15.1, and elevator we have 0 payables. For our aging and uncollectible HOA, over 60 day delinquencies. Master we have 5 units, condo we have 1, and elevator we have 1. Our master summary of operations and budget. Our operating revenue, we have a positive variance of $5,218. Operating expenses, we have a positive variance of $56,312. And our net income, positive variance of $61,530. For our year-to-date variances, our operating revenue, we are over budget, which is a positive variance of $4,716, mainly due to our communication royalties being over budget due to increasing communication provider subscriptions. For operating expenses, utilities, we are under budget 23,512, resulting mainly from potable and AG water being under budget due to the rate decreases we've experienced, as well as our continued water conservation practices. And electricity was under budget due to our E-rate classification with SCE. Landscape, we were under budget $12,639, mainly due to both irrigation repairs as well as our plant and tree replacement, both being under budget due to fewer repairs or work orders open for those. Our swimming pool and spa was under budget $387, mainly due to just fewer repairs needed. Spa and fitness were over budget $1,345, resulting mainly from our fitness classes and personal trainers being over budget on paper. This is just due to timing of our instructor invoices. Second month of the year, it's really hard to balance that out. This will true up as the year progresses. Our events was over budget $2,082, mainly due to event expenses being over budget due to our payment of deposits over summer events. I know Mary just went through hers and gave us a positive report on that, but we do have the deposits that were paid for the remaining events for the upcoming summer events. Common area were under budget $1,507. This was resulting from mainly from both AC heating repair and elevator maintenance repairs were under budget, just due to fewer repairs needed. And then our administration expenses under budget $21,693, resulting mainly from our payroll expense being under budget due to the timing of our temp staffing agency invoices. And our summary of operations and budget for condos and elevator. For condos, our operating revenue, we have a negative variance of $2. Operating expenses, negative variance of $1,015. And our net income is a negative variance of $1,017. For elevator, our operating revenue, our variance is flat to budget. Operating expenses is positive variance $828, leaving us net income of a positive $828. And that concludes our May financial report.
Thank you, Aaron. Any comments or questions on the financial report? All right, we have a motion to accept it.
I'll make a motion to approve the financial statements as presented.
I second.
I'll show of hands. Thank you. Passed unanimously. All right, I believe now we have a presentation from the club on the conversion of our underutilized horseshoe pit.
Underutilized?
Well, that was a euphemism for never used.
Yeah, we did have a hard time finding somebody that actually saw something to use in the horseshoe court. At any rate, the club, through doing concerts and fundraising through that, has accumulated some cash, and what we'd like to do is build a multi-game area out of where the horseshoe court is. So it'll be a shuffleboard court. It'll also be able to play cornhole and a few other games in the exact same area. That'll require us to tear it all the way out, lower it, add some foundation to it, cement it. We're gonna bring in these custom tiles that'll set up the shuffleboard court and allow us to do the other games in the same area. The club is gonna fund the entire project, so we're not asking TGIS for any money. TGMA is only worried about the maintenance on it. I did drop off a couple of the warranty papers. 0 to 5 years is 100% covered. Year 6 to 8 is 50%, and lifetime 30%. So that would be if anything happens to the tiles in between. So actually, all we're asking for is if you'll allow us to, take our money and put some more back into the community to allow the area to be used, we'd be more than happy to do it.
I just have a real quick question. So I think you've already talked to Dan, but is Dan going to be overseeing sort of the installation, so to speak?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about overseeing, but I'll be there with them. They're the pros, I'm the Joe, so I'm gonna be there. And but yeah, anything I see that draws attention or needs to be brought to the board, I could do that. But, I'm sure they're more than capable, but again, I'll be there with them. They did draw, I know there was some concern about the drainage, and in their plan, I saw there's a drainage plan already, so, I mean, they kind of already did all the work, they pre-measured, to me, it looks great. I like the fact that it's a tile surface. I was kind of curious how they're gonna do that, but, I mean, if they could do a puzzle, I'm not trying to downplay it. No, I'm just kidding, but no, I'll definitely be there with them. I definitely want to oversee this one for sure, to work with them.
And it's the third party that's actually doing the cement work. We're just cleaning it up, framing it up for them. Professional third parties coming in, doing the actual cement pour, making sure the drainage is correct.
I do want to add, I think to accentuate this new court, we do need to do some work on the exterior. I noticed some of the plants are pretty large, and we don't want to block this court from view. So I think that's something we could do with the landscape committee when we do the actual walk for the facilities. We can look at that. I think it'd be good to do a couple of adjustments, and we kind of want to make it more of like a central point. So I think starting with landscape would be good. I mean, but Jerry and the crew and the club, they're kind of handling everything. I think there's going to be some things that we need to do as, TGMA staff and board to also help out with the other aspects of this course. To kind of just, beautify it, I guess, and just give it some visibility.
I think it's great to find a way to make that area more utilized. But I am concerned about the request that's coming to provide shade cover for the area. The bocce ball has that already, and I understand that was a very expensive proposition. I know that budget, that's not in your budget or your plans, at least immediately, but what do you think about that issue?
Two angles to look at that. If you guys were to approve it, and let's say that wouldn't happen until August, and then it's gonna take us a month to get it done, and then you're not gonna need a lot of shade for the rest of this year, so it becomes more of an issue for next year. There's also been a question about shade, seats, tables. There is room, there's about 9 foot on each side of what would be the shuffleboard court that will be cemented. But you might know right now, if when you leave, you happen to walk by Vacation Corner, it's just up there. There is no tables, there is no chairs, there is no shade. So I think we ought to do, let's see if it gets used, which obviously we wouldn't be investing $10,000 if we didn't think that it would help the community and look better. But I would really propose, let's see how it runs. Let's see how the people in the community use it. And then if it becomes, hey, yes, it's getting used all the time and we'd like some shade. At that particular point, I would actually look towards the tennis courts. On the first tennis court this side, you've got a blue shade cover that goes over a bench that's on the court. I would do something more along that line. It would cover some seating for the players that would be playing, let's say enough for 4 seats on either side. If you want to have a table right in front of that, you'd probably have room. And it would fit under something as small a shade as what's up on the tennis court, which wouldn't go to looking at some $60,000 deal that we did in the other one. I don't think it's necessary here. But I think before we tax the community with all the rest, let's see how the use is going to be first. But I would go for the cheaper, but I think still very nice, like what you have with the tennis courts.
I think also another good option for I would say more cost effective would possibly be more like a wood trellis feature where it's on the ends, right? So you're typically going to be standing at the ends when you're doing cornhole or shuffleboard. I think what we could do, see how it goes this year, and say if shade is something that is desired, we can look into not just the shade sales, but I think a wooden structure would possibly like a shade sale type topper, maybe like a lattice for the topper. That could be a more cost-effective and aesthetically pleasing option. We also want to look at overall aesthetics. I know there's large shade sails at the bocce ball court. I don't want it to be overkill, throwing a bunch of shade sails everywhere. So that's stuff we need to consider. But again, I think it's what Jerry had brought up. It's good to test it out, see how it goes, see how many people it draws, and then we can go from there to see what's our best option next for providing some shade. That's just my thoughts on that.
I have one question, and it has to do with supplies,
Sure.
storage. And I know that when you've spoken from the TGIS meeting last month, you talked about your idea in regards to storage for some of these things that they would be playing with. Can you kind of speak to that?
Well, some of you guys have this particular plan that we laid out. We had proposed a couple of storage containers on each end of the shuffleboard court that would be locked up, keys would be inside, blue water so if somebody comes out and they say, okay, we're ready to play shuffleboard, you could go in, get the key from them, get the supplies out of those two boxes, be able to play, and then they could put them right back and the key back in. To be hauling a lot of equipment back and forth, it's a little bit of a hassle. I don't like seeing the girls moving cornhole things up and down stairs and out and about when it could be just right there already on the grounds. So our original idea, which I love to stick with, is we put two containers on each end, locked all the equipment in there, and then keys up in blue water, and you just go up there and ask for a key that you're gonna be playing. Any other questions?
Any more? Okay, I would say it would be nice to have an improvement to that area, because right now it gives nothing really to the community. It would be a wonderful problem to have so much use there that there would be a demand for shade. That would be a nice problem to have to tackle sometime in the future, but I think we'd like to take this to the board for settlement, so we have a motion to approve the club proposal.
I'll do that, but I want to give Gene and Jerry credit and the club, not only for this project, but all the great work you're doing for the community. Appreciate it.
Okay, so we have a motion, we have a second. Okay, we have a show of hands. Okay, so that passed unanimously, plus some positive comments from the audience. All right.
I guess I'll go back to my report and tell them we're gonna spend $10,000.
Thank you very much. All right, moving on, we have holiday lights for 2023.
Rigo, come on up. Rigo's going to present this proposal to the board.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? So I'm going to be presenting the holiday lights for this year, the proposal. So management obtained a proposal to install holiday lighting at the 3 monuments and the 3 facility buildings based on the previous year's scope of work. Management is recommending perfect holiday lighting due to the previous year's satisfaction with the vendor, significantly less cost, and the discounts that they provide for signing up with them at an earlier time. The amount is $4,708. It's budgeted for $4,400 this year. So we only obtained one because last meeting they were happy with this vendor, and they provided the lowest cost for years.
Thank you, Rita. questions from the board on this proposal? All right, we have a motion to approve.
I motion that we approve the crooked holiday lighting to do our lights for Christmas.
Second.
Second. All right, we have a show of hands from the board. Pass unanimously. Mike? You know, for those of you who haven't had the pleasure of meeting Rico, I will say, this is the first time that I know we have an employee who also serves on his HOA board at home. So, it's a pleasure to have him, and it's been delightful to work with him. So looking forward to a wonderful relationship. Thank you. All right. So moving on.
Okay, so next project up. First of all, I want to say it's kind of ironic we're talking about holiday lights when it's about to be 100+ degrees here. So it's good to plan ahead, right? All right. Next up is going to be the Rose Garden lights. So the cobblestone Rose Garden has light fixtures in the landscape that shine up on 2 trellises. The current light fixtures are either missing or broken, and they're definitely in need of replacement. Management reached out to 4 vendors to get proposals to replace the lights. Management is proposing to move forward with McGurk Electric due to cost and the previous ceiling fan project for the Temesco room that was done with this vendor with quality results. So management requested 2 different options. Option 1 was for the electricians to provide the lights and the installs. Option 2 was for management to provide the lights and the electrician does the installs in an effort to save on cost. So we're looking to move forward with option 2 of McGurk Electric's proposal for $845 to install the light fixtures that management will purchase separately. So the cost of the light fixtures for 6 fixtures is a total of $587.40, plus the cost of the install from McGurk, which is $845, will be a grand total of $1,432.40. So we're looking for the board to approve the proposal by McGurk Electric to replace the ground lights at the Cobblestone Rose Garden at a cost not to exceed $1,432.40 to be expensed from Master Reserve Account GLTR 23160, the Rose Garden Reserves, and for the board to also approve a $500 contingency for any unforeseen electrical issues that may be discovered during this process.
Thank you, Jim. Any questions from the board? Okay, we'll have a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the rose garden lighting proposal as presented.
All right. Motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? All right. Show of hands to approve it. Okay. Passed unanimously, Steve. All right. Moving on. Corral Canyon Gate painting.
Okay, the next one up is Corral Canyon Gate paint. So the exit gate at Corral Canyon was struck by a resident's vehicle. We have gathered all the information from the resident and are working back with our insurance. We have had the gate repaired by a welder, but now the gate needs paint because the welder would not provide that option. Management contacted 3 paint vendors to provide a proposal to paint the vehicle gates at the pedestrian gate. To provide paint. Let me start that over. I'm sorry. Management contacted 3 paint vendors to provide a proposal to paint the vehicle gates and the pedestrian gate with a cost option to paint only the exit gate that was damaged for insurance claim purposes. Management feels that all the gates need to be painted due to the contrast with faded paint on the other gates if we were to only paint the exit gate. Our in-house staff attempted to paint the portion that was welded, but it definitely stands out. We do need to get that gate painted to avoid, contrasting paint. So management is proposing for the board to move forward with a proposal from pilot painting due to cost and having worked with that vendor in the past with quality results. So we're looking for the board to approve the proposal by pilot paint to paint the vehicle and pedestrian gates at Trail Canyon at a cost not to exceed $1,300, with $800 to be expensed from Master Reserve Account 23001 Paint Reserves, and $500, the cost of the exit gate, to be expensed from balance sheet for insurance claims.
Thank you, ma'am. Any questions from the board? All right, we have a motion to approve.
Yeah, I made the motion to approve the painting of the corral gate and the pedestrian gate at Corral.
Okay. Second? All right. Have a motion and a second, so do we have a show of hands? Okay, that passed unanimously. All right, bike rack.
Thank you, Lee. A little bit of background, there have been a few residents come up and ask if we can have a bike rack at the Blue Water Sports Club. Right now, we have about 2 to 3 residents that do ride their bikes up there. And they are attaching it to a chair that we do have right outside the Blue Water Sports Club. We are asking for the board to consider adding a bike rack to the outside of the Blue Water Sports Club. It's a 5 bike rack from Treetop Products in the amount of $583.33. We got 3 bids. We have one from Belson at $1,023.45, another one from the park at $870. The Treetop product that is powder coated and seems to be a very good quality. So we are asking approval from the board for $583.33 to install a bike rack in front of the Blue Water Sports Club. Contingent on Todd paying for it. TGIS funding.
Mary, where did you say it's going to be located exactly?
It's right when you go into the Blue Water Sports Club on the left-hand side. There's a little spot there that we have a table with 4 chairs. There's plenty of room there for a small bike rack.
Thank you, Mayor. Any other questions from the board on the bike rack? All right, do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the bike rack proposal as presented to the mayor.
Okay, we have a second? Second. All right, we have a motion and a second. Do we have a show of hands from the board? All right, pass unanimously. All right, now, we have before the board, discussion on the sale of extra flooring. Dan, can you give us a little background on this?
Yeah, I'm gonna read it again because this one has some details. So basically, the flooring in the Modesto Lounge, that replacement was approved at the October 2021 open session meeting. When the vendor came on site to install in March of 2022, which was a pretty big gap, management noticed that the flooring did not match the same flooring that was presented to the board of directors. It was much thinner and resembled the current flooring that was already there. The mix-up was not from vendor error, but rather a mistake made by the previous facility manager. Management and the board discussed this and signed a change order to get the correct flooring that was presented to the board of directors. The change order was in the amount of $9,128, which was just the cost of the material, because the labor and the demolition of the existing flooring was already in the original proposal, which totaled $32,089 already. So the change order plus the original brought the project to a total of $41,217. Basically, after all that was done, we were left with roughly 3,000 square feet of flooring that we just had no use for. 84 cases with 18 pieces in each case. So from direction from the board, we ended up putting this for sale back in March of 2023 on our website and Facebook, but we received no responses. We put it at a very modestly priced cost, and still is getting no interest. So we do have a staff member here, Ashley, who works in the Blue Water Sports Club, So she's shown some interest in this and offered to purchase the entire amount of extra flooring for a cost of $1,000. And this would also free up a lot of storage in our TGMA storage that's currently being utilized for storing this flooring that we have needs for. So the proposed resolution is for the board to approve the sale of the extra flooring in the TGMA storage for $1,000.
Okay, any further discussion from the board or questions on this?
Dan, I know the whole history of this thing. We have done everything possible to sell not just to residents, but to other flooring companies. We've exhausted all the options,
I
right?
actually reached out to the guy who installed this flooring. He wasn't quite interested. They said, let me know later on, and he just wasn't interested. But yeah, it's just sitting there. We have no buyers whatsoever. So we're at a point where it's just taking up space, and we just don't know for how long.
So it's just been sitting in storage for what, 2 years then? Even after-
Yeah, and we were thinking maybe we can potentially use it somewhere on site, but it's not quite enough flooring that we would need for any other clubhouses. So it's more of like, it's not a little, but it's not a lot to where we can use it here. So our option was to sell it, but we're just getting no buyers right now, no interest at all. Oh man, you got me through a curveball, didn't you? I had all my details in my computer. It's yeah, I think I think it is mine because it's that type where it's like the hallway flooring basically. Yeah, where it's glued down, so like real similar to it. That's why when we got it, we were really shocked because we're replacing that flooring with literally the same flooring but a slightly different design. So it kind of raised some eyebrows for us.
Dan, the ideal would have been, if we had our dream world, that the hallway in the PCL is, we've replaced pieces here and there, and it looks okay, but not perfect.
Yeah.
We know we looked there to see if we could utilize it in that hallway, but it didn't match the color, or there's some.
Yeah, it's slightly off color and design, but also that flooring goes into all the rooms. So it's not like it's just going to be the hallway. It kind of goes into the rooms. But yeah, it would be a mismatch. And then it goes into the couch area here. It would just be a mismatch.
So Aaron, if we have to write this off, which we will, that's going to be a hit we're going to take. Comes off the balance sheet, and you're going to take a hit for it. Just be prepared for that on the budget.
Any other comments?
Question for Scott, what defined hit?
As a county term.
It's a county term, it's just like an expense. It's going to be a loss of disposal that's just like $8,000 for electricity or whatever. It's going to negatively impact the budget, and we didn't insert the budget for that, so it is what it is, but we have to be cognizant of that.
And I'll offer this, and Dan has laid that out. We tried to sell it. If we could have returned it for credit, we would have. It was not what the board had selected. By the time it was here and accepted in its boxes, and then it was opened a while later, it was a big oops. Unfortunately, that happened. The employee is no longer here, so can't beat her up over it, but it makes no sense to continue to store something that will never be installed. So rather than just giving it away, we do have an option to recover at least $1,000 of our investment. So I would move that we accept the offer. Question?
Yes, I was wondering whether or not, since you were willing to accept less than what you were originally trying to sell it for, that would it be feasible to open it up for a bid or something for other people in the community? I mean, you might get more than $1,000, but it nobody knew that they could just offer that amount, then it just seems to be a pretty elaborate gift to one person.
Well, we had offered it for sale for quite a while to the residents and had no offers on the floor. So versus having no offers, what do we do with it? I guess we could donate it somewhere, but, you know,
How was it, can it not be, offered for sale like on Craigslist, or some of those other places that? Yeah, oh, I don't know what to say. You say you offered it to the residents, have you sent out an e-blast with the information? I was never, not that I'd be buying it, but I never got it.
I think this looked very nice in your garage.
Yes.
Tracy, could you address that question from Mariana?
So back in March, the e-blast were sent out and the post was put on my TGI for the community to, if they have any interest, come and purchase the flooring. They could come and take a look at it, you know, see if it's worked for them, and we just had no bites whatsoever.
That was at, what, $7 a square foot or something?
So that's the retail price. I think we put it for sale for much cheaper. Where do you- I have it here. I want to say we put it for. I'm sorry. That sounds about right. $5,000. Yeah. So I know this is still the flooring. It's a good flooring. We definitely put it cheaper, but we had absolutely nobody show interest in it.
It's still on the website. 5,000. My TGMA.
Waited so long already, and give it one more month and shoot out another email blast and just say final request if anybody wants it. I mean, because I know I didn't see it either, and I may consider it. I don't even know what it looks like, so.
It's an option, yeah.
Starting at
We'll consider any option.
Starting at 5,000.
Will the offers from the floor, on the flooring?
Well, I don't even know what it looks like, so, I mean, if you send out another blast, maybe with some photos or something, and the exact square footage, and, you know, I mean, what would it hurt?
It's on
The
the
photo is on the website, and you go to the tile items for sale on the main page. You'll see the description and the offer and the photo. It's not the My TGI.
Okay, in response to comments from the residents and some additional thoughts on my own part, I'm going to move that we make an intense effort in the next 30 days, okay, to put this out in front of the residents again. And if there's no offer over the $1,000, then we'll make a final decision next month. Yeah. At the August open session. So any other comments from the board? All right, we have that was mine here. Yes.
Yeah, I've been in hard surface flooring all my life, and I suggest you take one box, open it up, stick it in the entryway here. Say we have $1,000 bid on 3,000 square feet, which is 30 cents a square foot. Would anyone like to bid on that? Because they may have relatives, you know, that want to do their whole house, and it's definitely worth at least 60 cents a square foot.
Okay, I will amend my motion and include that we do some direct sale marketing, if we can find a place to do that. So,
Anything else you want to get rid of?
pardon? Would you like to take a couple of boxes home tonight on a blue light special? Oh, okay. I did make a motion to do what we can to market it as effectively as we can for the next 30 days, and we'll make a decision in the August open session. In a second. Okay. Because we're a week late, I was just reminded, that might be only 3.5 weeks from now, not 30 days, so whatever the day count is, we'll do it in the August open session. All right.
That's for the entire fund, it's not to be divided up, right?
I think we want to make sure if we sell it, we're going to sell the entire lot. And so we don't end up with, half of it gone and have to throw the rest in the trash bin, so. All right, do I have a second to the motion? Okay, do we have a show of hands from the board? Thank you. Okay. No. Appreciate you guys coming. All right, now, what are we doing here in the policy? Oh, okay.
So,
We already had a comment on this. Yeah.
we did already have a comment on this. So the next item on the agenda is policy review and adoption. The board did discuss this and go over it for presentation today here at open session. And it is regarding the building hours. So Mary is going to go ahead and present this for us.
The motion is to move the hours of this building back to an 8 a.m. opening and a 9 p.m. closing. And I will say that it was nice to be able to walk in here in the morning and see a half a dozen or 10 people sitting around out here in the living room area, drinking coffee, reading newspapers, and just visiting. And that's a lot more conducive earlier in the morning. A lot of walkers would come in here and just avail themselves of the facility. So, any other comments from the board on this? All right, do we have a motion to amend the hours to 8 a.m. to 9 p.m.?
I make the motion that the hours for,
Yes.
That's a problem for the light clubs.
And the poker club.
We're not finished by 9 o'clock.
Let us go ahead and explain actually what this will entail. The normal walk-in building hours for regular, residents just roaming the building. The building will close at 9 p.m. Staff is going to work with both the poker club and the wine club and all events that will extend past 9 o'clock to accommodate you guys to have your hours. You will not be inconvenienced in any way. We will have staff here. It's regularly scheduled meetings for you guys, so it's easy for us to schedule staff to stay a little bit later those nights. The only thing this will do is eliminate the need on the nights where no one is here to have the buildings open until 10, where there is literally zero traffic. And Mary, did you want to go ahead and just give some of the stats?
I pulled stats on our key fobs for April, May, and June. And I did this last year as well. Last year, we had about 11 people come in after 9 o'clock. Half of those people did just go straight into the mailroom. I did that again this year, and now we have 5 people coming in after 9 o'clock, and half of those went straight into the mailroom.
And that's per month.
That's per month. So we have 5 in April, 4 actually in May, and June, I think we got another 5.
Yeah, and I would also add, just because that might be the stated hours, if there's an event in here, staff will be here until the event is over, just like it is now. That could be midnight. Although most of us, I think one goes to bed at 9:15. If I have to stay up that late, I have to take a nap earlier to make that. But so we'll accommodate the events, and there's a few groups like the men's poker club and maybe a bunco club now and then So we'll work around the exceptions, but to keep the building open, to have 5 people walk in a month, doesn't make a lot of sense. I think we'll have a lot more walking in between 8 AM and 9 AM than we do after 9 PM. So, any other questions from the board?
And it should be noted that staffing model will not increase our staffing costs. That's another good thing.
I make a motion that we change the posted public hours for the Pacific Crest Lodge from opening at 8 AM and closing at 9 PM.
I second it.
Okay, first and second, do we have a show of hands before? All right, passed unanimously. Well, we make the rest of this happen. All right, moving on, we have some reports that we can accept.
The reports that are being presented for the board to review and file by consensus.
Will be, thank you, the O'Connell Landscape Report, Management Landscape Report, HARA Monthly Landscape Report, and that's it. So those are just reviewed and filed, so we don't have to take an official vote. Is there any questions on those reports?
Any questions? All right, we have a move to accept the reports. Motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the reports as stated.
I second it.
Second, okay. Do we have a show of hands? All right, that's accepted and approved.
If there was anything needed, there's a roundtable session for the rest of this 20 days.
Okay. That was part of the, portion. That's the other sample. Okay. We have an opportunity, make a roundtable, anything from the board that they want to put forward to the community? After our 5.5 hours this morning? Okay. Lacking any, then we'll move to the next subject. We have an opportunity for open discussion from the homeowners. Do we have any speaker request cards?
Covered in all of the meeting.
Okay.
I didn't get a chance to do that, so I didn't know I had to put my name on this.
Okay, did you want to come on up?
I put my name on the list out there, only list they had out there.
Did you want to come up too?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, so this is regarding the railing up at the pickleball courts.
Your name, hon?
Paula Carabella. Hi, Todd. Yeah, okay, sure. So I understand that it was approved in the last meeting, and you were waiting for proposals. I also understand that there have been 3 proposals now, one of which I provided this morning. It is a safety concern, not just for my mom, but for many, many residents that play pickleball up there. I see, I play pickleball, and luckily I don't have an issue with my knees, but there are many that have issues, and they walk down those steps very, very slowly. One person even walks backwards down the steps because of, the way the knee moves. So I'd like to expedite this.
So I have 2 proposals right now total.
Okay, I gave one to Mary.
Including the ones you guys, so I have one. I think me and Rico met with like 2 other guys, so we should in total have about 4. I don't know what's going on with proposals lately, but it's taking so much time for them to get it back to us. But yeah, we're constantly talking to them, trying to get that bid back in. But we have 2 total because of the one Mary has.
Okay, so when do you think?
So the goal would be this upcoming board meeting. That just all depends if we get at least a third bid after this. So
Okay.
all depends on when they send it.
All right. I'll see if I can get another one.
All righty.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Larry? Yeah.
Thank you.
My name is Larry Warren. I'm a retired sheriff deputy and started the sheriff volunteer program here 13 years ago. I only say that because I understand law enforcement. And in April, my wife and I went on a cruise and parked our, well, we took her sport utility out of the garage. We have a golf cart in the garage, a 2-car garage. And I pulled my truck into the garage and we went on our vacation. When I returned, I pulled my truck out of the garage, parked it on the street where I've been parking it for 15 years, and parked her sport utility in the garage. Next morning, I woke up to 2 citations. It's the first citation I've received in my 72 years. And I was surprised by that because I didn't understand why that was happening. The citations were basically both for parking. And I said, oh, Jesus, like me giving a ticket for speeding and driving too fast for conditions. Basically the same thing. I stored my visitor's pass in my truck on the window because I've lost the number of them and I know where it's at and I can hand it out. My truck is registered, so I'm not asking for that to be a pass. But after I was gone on vacation and came home and pulled the truck on the street, I got a citation for parking on the street and I got a citation for abuse of the visitor's pass, which I didn't understand because I've been gone. So anyhow, I did call the Lake Center and complain about it and said, if you guys are going to enforce these laws that have been dead for 20-some years, it would be good if you put it in the newsletter and let us know that's what's going to happen, give us the opportunity to respond to it. The person I talked to said that's a good idea, and yes, the following newsletter had a thing saying that we're not going to allow parking on the street. So I go to the question, and by the way, I have 7 tickets. I was asked by the landscapers to move my truck out of the garage because they were doing landscaping on the trees and park it on the other side of the street, which I did. Of course, it was by evening, I had my margarita, watched TV, relaxing. Next morning, I got up and had my 2 citations again. So it was just a little ridiculous. So my question to the board, a lot of these rules and regulations came about when Shea built this community, and they passed it on. They just basically said, okay, this is what we did for all of our other communities, so these are the rules and regulations for this community. If you have a 2-car garage, the driveway is very narrow, and if I park my truck in the driveway like asked, one, my wife can't get the golf cart out when she goes to work out in the morning, so I have to move it over or leave. And then if I'm parked behind her car, then I need to move her on the other side so she can get out. And if it's parked behind a golf cart, she's taking the car, she would hit my truck. She can't back up with the darn. So it's a problem because the driveways are real narrow. And I actually parked with my wheels partially on the grass. There's also 2 neighbors within sight of my house that, because they have big RVs, they have 4-wheel drive, crew cab, dualies. And because of the rules, they park it in the driveway backed up totally to the garage, and it overhangs about 1.5 feet into the street. On the other side, up on Pinion Point, when he parks his, because there's a sidewalk, he's okay, but you have to walk around his truck to go down the sidewalk. I asked why between the hours of 10:30 at night and 6 o'clock or 6:30 in the morning, what does it hurt to have a car parked on the street in front of your house? I understand originally you said if you have 2 in the garage, you park 1 on the driveway. If you had another one, then you could park it on the street. But there's nobody looking at houses at that time of night. I think they have to look at it and say, I'm not talking about parking 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cars. We're talking about the extra car, husband and wife in a golf cart. And so you have an extra vehicle, and I'm saying that that extra vehicle should be able to park on the street in front of your house. They have to re-look at that rule and decide if that's something they want to continue to enforce. But I don't see any need for it. if anybody can come up with a reason why we can't park on the street between 10:30 and 6 o'clock in the morning, let me know what that reason would be. And the other one, real fast, is that, they passed a rule, or it was another rule that's been set down for years, that they cannot put the flyers in the mailroom more than 30 days prior to the event. So they went in and took out all the flyers. And if you go there now, you'll see anywhere from 5 to 10 empty deals. And I don't understand that. I think 30 days, some events cannot sell out in 30 days. And I don't see why, this is another one they just started to enforce. I don't understand why that could be like 60 days. Because if I was selling real estate and walked into there and they had all these open slots, I well, I don't have any events. But if you go in there and the people can put their, right now what they do is they'll have it, same event with 3 slots and they'll still have 4 or 5 open. So there's no need for it. I think we can stretch it out to 60 days and give our clubs the opportunity to be able to sell their tickets for their event. So those are the 2 complaints. Answer, though, I would say, if you have a problem, you come to my office, you should have an answer for it. I think because of all these new rules, old rules that they're starting to enforce, I believe we should have a committee of